Newkah Reviews.
That's the factory. The great leader must have a tiny...
Rogue Warrior is a game which wishes it had the fluid third and first person gunplay and cover system of a game like Rainbow Six Vegas, but simply doesn't. The game is incredibly picky about what you can hide behind. I often found myself trying to hide behind obvious cover, but was flatly refused. In addition to certain objects arbitrarily not being cover, despite them being copy-pastes of other objects which you can hide behind, is the fact that about half of every piece of cover in the game will simply kill you, either because it has small gaps that enemies can easily shoot through, or because an enemy has charged your position too quickly for you to leave cover in time to stop them. The latter is of particular frustration because you essentially have to use low sensitivity in order to actually hit anything, because the aiming system itself is highly inconsistent when shooting at targets from any range. Because of this, I had to constantly adjust the sensitivity in order to actually hit anything. Meanwhile, enemies, particularly on the Elite's difficulty setting, have almost perfect accuracy upon sighting you, exacerbating the previously mentioned issues regarding the cover system. Another issue is the broken way in which reloading works in relation to cover. The animation will often play without reloading your weapon 2 or 3 times while transitioning in and out of cover, all while you're under pressure in a firefight.
Fucking wind is so cold it'd freeze the balls off a fucking polar bear.
The guns themselves all feel basically the same, to the extent that there may as well only be 5 guns in the entire game. For most of Rogue Warrior's runtime, it's more like 4 guns, because the grenade launcher shows up once, in the game's 2 hours length, with 0 fanfare. After using the grenade launcher's 3 and only 3 shots, likely while dying in the process, it never appears again.
You suck.
Another abrupt weapon inclusion is the M4A1, which is used in the closing half of a single mission before never showing up again. Additionally jarring is the fact that numerous M4A1s, American NATO weapons, are just sitting at a random closet at a North Korean dock. This is one of the few instances where the game's obnoxiously vocal protagonist might have revealed some interesting in-game lore or side story with some "what are these doing here" quip. Before I realized the suppressed pistol you start with has unlimited ammo, I chose my weapons exclusively on how much ammo they could carry because of the grossly inaccurate aiming system. Because of its lack of noise, unlimited ammo, and comparatively high accuracy, picking up any other weapon puts you at a severe disadvantage in combat. In addition to this, there is a bug which allows you to clear large portions of rooms with 0 reaction from any of the enemy soldiers within. Because of its unlimited ammo, you can, if patiently, simply choose a piece of non-lethal cover and blind fire from it forever until you win. Another absurdly powerful weapon at the player's disposal are the melee takedowns, which are essentially if the knife from Call of Duty had VATS. And of course, you are invincible during all of this, so you can often charge almost suicidally into gunfire and win with minimal effort. This is actually substantially more viable than trying to shoot at close range because of the aforementioned aiming problems. In fact, being able to run through large swaths of Rogue Warrior, which is already criminally, although perhaps mercifully short, is a crippling design flaw which the game suffers from. This leads into the next major point of issue the game has. Rogue Warrior has a severe problem of dumping an absurd number of enemies in close proximity to the player, or in positions which are hard to counter. This leads to instances where you slug it out against a group of 15 or 20 enemy soldiers only to be abruptly gunned down by the next wave of 15 or 20 soldiers who just spawned in right in front of you.
fucking thing sucks!
This typically results in either retreating until you find cover which is suitable for a gunfight, i.e. cover that doesn't kill you, or simply running past the communist horde, whereupon they will completely forget about you as you enter the next section. Another deeply jarring design decision is the fact that nearly every single NPC you interact with is hostile and has a gun. You will often come across random officer construction workers who, upon seeing you, will immediately become hostile and pull out AK-47s. There is no explanation for this whatsoever.
Happy 4th of July, motherfucker.
Your objectives in each mission are almost always disinteresting, usually boiling down to go to this marker, put C4 on this thing for the entire runtime. So you go to this North Korean missile factory and you blow up a missile with C4. And then you go to a bridge and you blow it up with C4. And then you go to a Soviet missile silo and you blow it up with C4. And then you go to a dam powering a submarine that has a nuclear defense system targeting computer and you blow it up with C4. And then you go to that very same nuclear submarine and you blow it up with C4. And then the game ends.
Boom! Fucking commies keep getting in my way. No surprise, motherfuckers.
Happy fucking birthday.
God, smells like dog and gunpowder in here.
The level design itself often gives enemies an irritating high ground advantage. In these sections, the issues the game has with its cover system become even more unbearable, mixing both cover which barely functions as cover and short, crouching height easily shot at from an elevation cover. In one particular section, the previously mentioned North Korean docks, the game features all of this: the cover that kills you, the cover which is too short to be effective cover, the frankly ridiculous high ground placement of enemies on shipping containers, and the surprise 20 guys right in front of you loop. And of course, those anachronistic M4s all at the same time. This has led me to label this section the worst part of the entire game. At least one of these irritations is present for a majority of the experience.
16 times the detail.
Rogue Warrior has major issues with its lighting. Certain sections are so unnecessarily dark that I had to manually increase the brightness on my television in order to actually see anything. The environments are usually incredibly sparse, and facial animations are amusingly awkward. You may have thought at some point, this doesn't look bad for a PS2 game. Well, you would be wrong, because this is a PlayStation 3 game.
It's a total goat. Goddamn KPA were waiting for us.
Rogue Warrior is something that has to be seen to be believed. What went wrong at Zombie Studios and Rebellion to have allowed this to happen? What was Bethesda thinking exactly when publishing this? Ultimately, when it comes down to the game's flaws, IGN's Jeff Hayes said it best. Unfortunately, there are so many negative aspects of the game, it's almost impossible to cover all of them.
For your crimes against happiness and the laws of chemical warfare, I, John Kennedy, sentence you to death by space lasers.
Shit. You reading me, Admiral?
Marcinko.
I've located the Soviet missile silo. Matter of fact, I'm standing in the control center.
I don't care if you found a Virgin Mary doing a gun handstand. You disobeyed a direct order. I am gonna...
Listen, Admiral, we got a shovel. Computers here are the core of a guidance system. It's anti-ballistic and it's online.
You are not serious.
The commies got themselves a working missile defense shield. They can shoot our nukes right out of the sky. That gives them first strike capability. No retaliation.